What's good, everybody? Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, the Grandmaster Troll, here to give you some of the best trolling content YouTube has to offer. We are up early in the morning. It's still dark where I'm at, but we're going to talk about a couple of things. Let me just set my phone up so I can see the stream and see who's in the chat. Are we live? Are we live? Yes, we are live. We got 4 people watching. We are up early. Turn that down real quick. Let's see. We giving out the mod of the day, and I'll go to new vibes. First unmodded person, but since JJ Reits is in here without a mod, and we talking about business, we go ahead and mod him up too. We got Biz Miller. We got OD. Shielmo in the building, new vibes. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. So the title of this stream, what did I title this one? In order to master the stock market, Negroes must be up at opening bell. Opening bell is in 30 something minutes. So we're just gonna talk about some basic stock market news and some basic concepts before we get into the real difficult stuff. We're just going to talk about some basics, some fundamentals. So stock market, when you build your portfolio, you got to develop some good habits. And one of the good habits you want to do is wake up and see what your portfolio is doing, because you could miss out on some opportunities or get taken advantage of. That's right. When you buy stocks and they have earnings calls and they release their earnings reports, like we're about to go over, your companies will either lose money, or you could gain money, and it could be an opportunity. But if you're asleep in the bed, if you're a West Coast ninja like me, where it's 6:30, the sound is low. The sound is low. Hold on. My sound is low. Is it better now? Do I sound better now? Do I sound better now? Do I sound better now? Let's see. OD Shimo says GMT market open is for me. I see the candles on my chart. So the candles on the chart is when stocks go up or down, and it shows the red candle, the green for the green candle. Okay. Biz Miller says the sound is better. Okay, so we're just gonna jump. So I actually may even buy some stocks in crypto, because I was supposed to buy crypto when I got paid, and I didn't buy any because crypto was going up, and I didn't want to buy when stuff was going up, but it looks like stuff is going down. So with that said, let me see. I can move you over there on my computer. Let me slide down. Let me slide down. Let's see. There we go. That's what I wanted to show right there. There we go. Now I could better. I haven't even looked at my portfolio yet. So one of the first things I look at when I wake up, I always check, my Voyager portfolio, because that has the most money in it, and I just look at it to see where I'm at. And when I look at it, okay, so the market's not really down, and the reason I know that, I look at the total return. A couple of weeks ago, that was negative 1,000. Then when the crypto market, I guess, recovered at its heights, I was plus 600. So we're still at the upper echelons. I click on to see where all my cryptos rank, because I have an idea of the cryptos I want to buy. I want to buy ADA, DOT, and VGX. So VGX is still hovering just above 2. I missed it when it dropped down below $2, but it is what it is. I missed Cardano when it was flatlined at $1, and I missed polka dot when it was at 17. And so that's that right here. Then I checked the Robin Hood. And for me to check the Robin Hood, I gotta what? I gotta put in my password. Why doesn't it not want to work? All of a sudden it doesn't want to work. So let me put the password in. Don't want people to see the password. So the markets don't open till the bell doesn't ring till 7 o'clock. So they have this big ceremony where the bell rings and whatnot. So you just look at the total percentage. This is what I want to do today's return so far. Okay. So they give you different options. I want to look at percent change to see what's up, to see what's down. So in my portfolio, my biggest loser happens to be Lumen Technologies. For whatever reason, after hours, it dropped 10%. And then today, it dropped another 16%. So for some reason, Lumen Technologies is going down. Like I'm getting all this notifications on my phone that you can see that Lumen Technologies is down 15 something percent. I know they had an earnings call yesterday, so I wanted to see why did they go down. So I could click where it says replay earnings call, or I could go on the website and actually read the earnings call. So an earnings call is whenever a company reports earnings for either the quarter, and they talk about the profits from the last quarter, or they may talk about what they did for the whole year and what they're going to do moving forward. Things that they good at, where they generated revenue, profits, if they bought a business, if they lost customers, if they had to cut a dividend, do they plan on giving the dividend back? And people who invest in the company could actually ask the CEO questions. But the reason why I'm doing this stream today, entitled Why Ninjas Need to Wake Up in the Morning, is because we as black folks they feel left out. They feel discriminated against. That they don't have a voice in the country that they live in. So I was taking notes and peeping market when I see market trends, and by market trends, watching shows like Bloomberg and financial shows on TV, and you can see a lack of representation from black folks, whether it be BWs or BMs. People, they feel a certain way. Last night I was supposed to talk about Brian Flores and his class action lawsuit against the NFL for discrimination, but I ended up falling asleep. But he was suing because, class action, because, black folks are being discriminated against. And, people feel in business that black folks gets discriminated against because they're not in prominent places. So when you look at all of these companies, you look at the CEOs, the CFOs, you look at the board members, the lack of involvement, inclusion from black folks, in particular black males, black females as well, there's a lack of representation. So there's a lot of reasons for why there's that lack of representation. Sure, you could blame some on discrimination in the past that built the foundations for these companies that left black folks out. Sure, but now anybody could create a business, and you could get an SEC filing, and you could do all the procedures to have your business go public, and you could choose your board members that way to get your representation in the markets. But for some reason, there isn't a lot of companies in the community that's fortunately rose to that level yet. There's a couple out there, but I won't talk about that yet. I'm trying to follow the chat. Let's see, they're talking about crypto. They want me to tell them about Reits. Uh, I may go out and shoot a video about Reits today so people could get a better understanding. Somebody says the stock market is where money is traded. Yes. Somebody says, John Johnson says, if you don't have large amounts of cash, you will not turn a profit or a large profit. That's true, but you got time to do that. So what I'm gonna do now is just briefly, because I know people are brand new. See, I got another phone. That Polygon is down below $2. I missed it when it was at $1.70. I missed it when I was at $1.70. But for those who don't have a portfolio, I want to help you guys build your portfolio. So what we're gonna do, since I got my phone out and I like the phone app better than the browser app, I love the Robinhood phone app. It's even better than the browser app as well. But you could create a list to follow. So as we go through all my lists to follow right here, what do I have? First I got my portfolio right here. So I can see what my portfolio is doing during the day. We got Lumen Technologies. We will be buying Lumen Technologies on this stream today. Assuming, so I have all my stocks ranked by their value, their equity value. So Chef's at the top, Cloud ETF, and then they're all ranked by value, so I can see what's moving up and what's moving down. So if a particular stock of mine does go down, I could better see where the value is. And then I'm watching this contract on Tattooed Chef that I was interested in. That if I would have did an option, I would be down on that position $305. Glad I didn't do that. And then I watched the crypto markets. The crypto markets appear to be negative. The reason I like Robinhood, because when they do it from the day, it resets at 12. It resets at midnight, so I could better see the crypto markets, and coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dodge, Stellar, XRP are some that I own, so I could even see what's moving in my portfolio just by going to my Robin app. And then I follow the tech stops right here, like Amazon and Google, so I could see what they're doing. And then there's more. Then I broke down the tech industry because it's so big. But there's a streaming and cloud industry within the text industry that I like to follow. So stuff like Shopify, Netflix, Adobe, Zoom that operate in the cloud area. DocuSign, what else? Dropbox, those kind of companies. And then there's ETFs that I'm interested in that I follow as well. Then I got social media stocks, so Facebook, Interest, Snap, Twitter. I guess I gotta add TikTok to it. And then telecommunications. I follow those as well, just to see what they're doing. Looks like Switch. I knew I should have bought Switch way back when, because that stock is moving. But sometimes you just miss out on opportunities, but it's good to see them. And then I got the financial sector, so Coinbase, PayPal, Square, and all of the banking stuff. All the fintech companies, I follow those as well. And then Reits, somebody wanted me to talk about Reits. I have a specific section to follow from Reits as well. Come on, flip. Okay, I'll hold you like that. So some of the REITs you can follow that I know of, O, ticker symbol O, Realty Income is a popular REIT. Let's see, CBR Group is a popular REIT that people like. But these are just some of the REITs that I follow, and I can see how they do, and I rank them by price so I can see which move. I haven't checked in a while. It looks like Stag made a big move as it's jumped over somebody, so that'll be a good one to follow. Kim jumped over Gladstones the last time I checked, so Kimco is moving as well. Then you also got mortgage REITs, so those are like REITs, but they're, instead of being, because REITs are more business, like building orientated, mortgage REITs are more paperwork orientated. So when people, so stuff for like apartment buildings and stuff like that, housing, that's what mortgage REITs are. But I'll break that down in another video. I also follow the mega department stores. Yes, I have the stock market broken down into subsectors. So you got the mega department stores that I follow: Costco, Home Depot, Target, Walmart. I follow those as well. Hotels. So hotels will also, some of these are also REITs as well. So if you want to invest in hotels like MGM, Marriott, Wynn Resorts, and there's some other hotel REITs like Apple and Chapman Lodging. I follow those as well. Then restaurants. You know, if you're interested in investing in restaurants, you could find you a good restaurant to invest in. So maybe your favorite restaurant that you like to take the family to get something to eat, maybe they will be providing you some good value as well. Looks like Beyond Meat during its crash dropped from triple digits all the way down to $62. Then you got the consumer staples. When you go to the store, all of this stuff you buy on the shelves like Kraft Foods, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Fizz. What else? Procter and Gamble, Kimberly Clark, Johnson and Johnson, Clorox. I follow those as well. Then you got the energy sector. I haven't really got deep into the energy sector. So I follow Duke Energy. There's General Electric, PG&E, Ontario Midstream, ticker symbol AM. And there's also an ETF that I like, AMLP, which is up quite a bit since the last time I owned it. Then I follow gas and oil. You gotta follow gas and oil. So if you guys go to Chevron to get your gas, if y'all go to Shell to get your gas, if you live in the South and you go to Sunoco and you get your gas, whatever gas station that you shop at, BP, British Petroleum, whatever you shop to get your gas at, why not invest in a company that you give money every week to when you go fill up? So I own EPD. I'm thinking about changing because I want to go more into BP, because I get my gas primarily at Arco, and BP owns the Arco brand. So I've been thinking about changing there, and it's up about $10 since the last time I looked at it, because I started following it when it was at 24. And then the automotive sector, so Tesla, Ferrari, Toyota, GM, NIO, Honda, Ford. So if you plan on buying a car, or if you take your car to a certain dealership, or if you're financing a car from a certain dealership, why not invest in that company, because that's also how they make money as well. Then you got the airplanes, so Boeing, Alaska, Southwest, Delta Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines, stuff like that. Cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian Cruise, some cruise lines, so if you want to get involved in the ships as well. And then of course cannabis. Cannabis is a growing industry. I own 2 cannabis stocks, but none of them on Robinhood. I own Avant Brands and Planet 13. But I like to look at the cannabis market so I can see what that industry is doing, because if that industry begins to explode, then I know my marijuana companies may explode as well. But the cannabis industry has been taking major L's over the years right now, so there's not going to be great return. But as cannabis gets legalized throughout the country and throughout the world, and as they grow their businesses, I think the cannabis industry is going to net great returns over the long haul. Then you got the ride sharing, so Dash, Lyft, Uber, what else is out there? Grubhub as well. Those will be something to follow for ride sharing. That's going to be an emerging economy over the next couple of years, so you want to definitely get involved in that. Then, of course, I watch certain YouTubers as well, and they may recommend some stocks. So I just put all the stocks that they recommend, and I put it up there, and I just follow it just to see if the advice that they're giving, or if the tips that they're giving, if the trends that they're predicting are working out. So that's how much I do right there. What else I got? I got meme stocks. I got a category for meme stocks because you never know. You never know when those meme stocks blow up. Then I got blockchain ETFs because the crypto's becoming big, and you could invest into crypto without actually buying crypto. So I follow some of the blockchains ETFs, but you wanna be able to find you and develop a watch list before you even start buying stocks, so you could get a better grasp of the different industries within the stock market. But let's see what we got going on in the chat real quick. For some reason my phone doesn't want to work. See, John Johnson says, so everybody thinking they about to win in crypto is food. A lot of y'all will lose money. Yes, there will be some people who will lose money, buying it at the wrong valuation, buying it when it's too high, and then selling when it's too low. Somebody says if you buy Tesla, invest in Tesla, use Amazon, invest in Amazon. That's right. If you buy a Tesla, invest in that company. It's really simple. Really simple. So we're about 3 minutes from the opening bell. Let's see what's happening out here in these markets as we are 3 minutes from opening bell. Let's see what's about to happen. Let's slide up real quick. Now all of a sudden I can't find it. There you go. It's right there. Okay, it's gonna play a little ad, it looks like. But we're 3 minutes from opening bell. Now whatever I found about opening bell is that when it comes to about 7 o'clock or whatever, these white folks on TV are celebrating opening bell. So while everybody is asleep, they're celebrating that the stock market is open, and I found that to be real fascinating that people are just celebrating the opening of the stock market, but what they're really celebrating is the opportunity to make money and build their wealth. And they do this every day. So I just found that that was pretty interesting. Let's see what we got going on. John Johnson looks like he over there, right? And he says, once this funny money dry up, when interest rate rises, let's see. Let's watch if Bitcoin can compete with real economics. I mean, if you ask, Bitcoin has outperformed any asset that's in the stock market since the life of Bitcoin. But John Johnson is not a believer of Bitcoin. So what else do we have here? Let's go over here real quick. Back to my OBS because I don't want people to see the password and they try and hack your boy GMT. But we're going to check another portfolio real quick. We're going to check another portfolio real quick. We're going to go over to the M1 Finance. I think I got to put a password into this one because there's different ways to get into the market for those who aren't in the market yet. There's different apps you could use, and one of them that I use is, look at that. I thought everybody saw me put in my password, but they did. Okay, so on the M1 Finance, so I basically used M1 Finance to invest into the bigger, more successful companies like like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and JP Morgan. A lot of these companies I use like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. Those that I don't use, JP Morgan, Tesla, and Apple, but they've been so big money machines over the years I could not ignore them. I would love to sell my Apple stock. I would love to sell my JP Morgan stock and put it into something that I actually use. Stocks that I'm watching are Sony and Target, but these stocks are outperforming those other stocks on such a big basis that I'm just going to ride those out. But the reason why I like M1 Finance is because you could basically set how much money per week you're going to invest in the stock, and you could basically set it, forget it, and they will rebalance it itself. So if I go to activity, you can see that pretty much on every week, you see that every week I basically put in $35, basically $5 a day into this account, and it buys certain stocks. And I've been doing that for a long time. So I started back in June 9th of 2021. You got to put the initial investment of $100, and then they buy 7 random stocks depending on how you got the pie divided up. Then ever since then, it's been 35, real slow, 35. And then if the market may go down in a particular week, or if I want to put more money in, I think one week I dropped like 150. And then over the past 2 weeks since Facebook went down, I wanted to add more Facebook, so I put 40, knowing that Facebook is down and they're going to rebalance the pie. They end up putting 38 into Facebook that particular week. And then Facebook kept going down again. So when I put more in, they put 21 into Facebook because Facebook is a such big portion of the pie. If I look at it, Facebook or Meta is supposed to be at 15%. So if it drops down to like 14 or 13.8, when you deposit more money into it, it's going to take that money and deposit into more money that's weighted lower on your pie to bring it back up with the others. So this keeps everything balanced for you, and you don't get overexposed in that particular portfolio. So you could create a pie with any stocks, whether it be REITs, dividend stocks, growth stocks, tech stocks, whatever stock you put in. You could put as many stocks as in the pie. So if you just want 4 and you want it evenly at 25%, you could do that as well, and it will actually feed each stock evenly. Even as one stock goes up, when it's time to put money into that stock, the stock that's weighted higher, it will get less money, and the stocks that are lower, it will put more money into it, and that's how it keeps everything balanced. So in your portfolio, not one particular stock will run away in equity value. It will pretty much stay even. So that's why I like the M1. See, GMT, we saw part of it. Okay, so they saw part of my password. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to change my password because they done seen part of my password. Okay, apps to buy and trade. So somebody uses Webull. I tried Webull. I got one free stock on Webull that doubled up, but it was only like $1 stock. So see, it looks like they're calling John Johnson all of these names. Somebody said I ain't messing with Meta. I mean, Facebook has been that company over the past years. Now I saw that video with Earn Your Leisure, and he thinks Meta is gonna fall off. He think Meta won't be that stock anymore. So John Johnson says is that a crypto stock, GMT, or is that Forex? So I haven't talked about Forex. So you gotta tell me what ticker symbol you're talking about, so I could better help you. But we've got past the opening bell. The stock market is open, so we may buy some crypto. We're gonna buy some crypto. So since we're gonna buy some crypto, let's see. Let's pull up the crypto portfolio, the whole portfolio. I want to use my computer to do that. So give me a second, because I did not set my settings for OBS. I did not set my settings for OBS. Does this work right here? Okay, that'll work. So we're going to be black for just a little bit until I get the browser open. And we're going to talk about crypto, because we're going to drop some money into the crypto portfolio. Let's see what we're working with here. Okay, so we at 8,400, so we're a little bit higher. I wish I would have bought more when crypto was lower. But we're looking at VGX, DOT, and Cardano. Let's see, let's look at the positions I'm taking big L's in. So Dogecoin, VGX, Cardano, EOS, Polkadot. So it's really VGX and Cardano. I've been buying a lot of those, especially Cardano, over the past month, because I'm trying to lower my cost basis in those. So it looks like we're going to have some money to do that. So since we're going to have some money to add to it, why not go over to the Voyager app? And we are going to go shopping. We are going to go shopping for some stocks. There we go. Look at that, Dogecoin still going down. Alright, so I want to say Voyager, there's no password. Hold on, they can't see it all the way. Can I slide you over? There we go. There we go. So that's the portfolio. You just go to account. Hold on, I don't want people to see my last 4 digits of my account number, cause I know y'all hackers is nice. I know that y'all hackers have gotten nice. Okay, slide that over, hit the confirm button, let's go. Okay, we're back. So we got some money to play with. What happens? Illegally dumped rats take over popular California park, officials say. So somebody done dumped some rats in the park. That's funny. I mean, you Negroes out there, you guys do some of the most wildest stuff in California. Alright, so we got $170 to buy some crypto. I'm looking at Sheep. I'm not Sheep. I'm looking at Voyager, VGX. I'm looking at Cardano, and I'm looking at DOT. The reason I like those, because not only am I down a lot in those, but they pay the most interest. Somebody says JJ says I like stocks that pay dividends. Tell me the stocks that you own that pay dividends. Let's see. OD Shiamo says, and yes, crypto is the hardest market to trade, but once you get nice with that, one another ones are easier to read. But we're gonna buy some crypto real quick. We're gonna add it to the portfolio. I'm trying to think. I got 170 and there's 3 I want to buy. Do I want to do 170 divided by 3? That'll give me what, about $63? $63.33. Let's see. That's 60. That'll give me three polka dots. Okay, a little more than 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and divide that up by 3. Let's buy some of this VGX right here. Do I want to buy VGX at 213? So it gives you the price. So if I do a market order, it's going to sell it to me at 213, even though VGX is giving me a price on my portfolio at $2.09. So whenever you buy crypto market on these exchanges, you gotta pay attention to as to what the price of the crypto that you're buying, because you want to make sure you buy it at the most price that is advantageous. So right now, if I go back on the coin market cap, it's at 219 or 209. I'm sorry. Do I want to buy it at 213? That's the question GMT has to ask himself. Because if I do a limit order, for it at 219, it would actually have to drop to about 206 for it to execute at 209. So that's one thing I don't like about buying stuff on exchanges, because if you put a limit in and then VGX takes off the $2 or $3 because you were being cheap over 4 cents, well then you miss out on all that profit. But I'll do a market order of it. I don't mind paying the 4 cent premium. Okay, so we're gonna buy $63.33. Hold on, I gotta do my math. My math is off. So I gotta go to the calculator. 170 divided by 3. Okay, $56. That's what I want. $56.66. That's the total I want. Okay. So it's at 212 and you just hit the slide. And I bought some VGX right here. And we're going to do the same to DOT. Getting in at 21, that gives me 2.5. Let's see, 21.88. Where does Polkadot sit at its current price? Okay, it's at 21.60, so 18 cents. Not bad. Let's get those dots in. Okay, and then Cardano as well. So then we just added those to the portfolio. How do I know that they went through? Okay, I still got 2 cents left over. I hate having 2 cents left over. But I know that they went through because my available balance is down. And then when I go to accounts and I go to transaction history, it gives me the orders I just bought right here. And it gives me the field price and the quantity right there. And it gives me everything that I've bought over the past year. The reason I like using Voyager, because you could get into the loyalty program. Let's see if they got a better So you could earn rewards on it. So these are all the cryptos you can buy and earn annual interest. You gotta have the monthly requirement right there. Let's see, Ethereum down to 31. Not low enough for me to buy it yet. But it gives you basically all the crypto that you could earn interest on. So I'm using crypto as a long-term play. I'm not so worried about what's going to happen to it in the short term. John Johnson thinks I'm going to lose a ton of money buying crypto. OD Shion says, good luck. Good luck to all y'all in whatever market you like. So after I buy my crypto on my Voyager account, I have to come over and add it. I have to come over here and add it to my portfolio that tracks all the crypto I own on different platforms, because even the majority of my money is on Voyager. I do have, what do I have? I have an Atomic wallet, and I have some in Coinbase, and I have some crypto in Qcoins. Well, I have to come over and add it over here so I can better chart it and whatnot, and the value will be added. So we're going to do that right now. So all you got to do, it's simple. Let's make sure you guys can see that. Yep, they can see it. And so I bought some VGX. I just go over to my transaction history, type in VGX. It gives you the quantity that you need. So I bought 26.61, and I bought it at the field price, which is the final price. It was just 212.9, and it gives you the money spent, which is about right. So I just make sure all that adds up, and I just do that, and it adds it over into the portfolio. And we're going to do the same for DOT and the same for Cardano as well. So we bought 2.5, 2.590 at 21.86. Let's see. Yep. And we're going to do the same for Cardano. We bought 46 at $1. And you just add those up to the portfolio, and then it'll recalculate it and put everything into the chart, and you can see there's a bigger increase because I just recently added, but as time passed, that little dip and spike is not going to be as big anymore. Well, it's going to be bigger for today, and then I can see my allocation. Okay, it looks like DOT is in the top 4 now as it passed Bitcoin with that last purchase. So I like to keep Ethereum and Bitcoin in my top 5 or 6 coins, because those are the blue chippers, and I want to make sure I don't get overexposed to altcoins. So the next time Ethereum drops, I'm waiting to get Ethereum below 3,000. I think if I could get it below 3,000, that would be good. That would be good. But that's basically the crypto side of things. Right now we're going to head over to the stock market. Before we head over to the stock market, hold on. Don't want people to see my password. Don't want people to see the password. We gotta check one more brokerage. Definitely gotta check out one more brokerage. Let me go ahead and log in. I don't want people to see my username and password and get the hacking on the brother. Okay, we gotta check out the fidelity. Okay, my Coinbase account. Okay, I gotta link my Coinbase account. I don't mind. I'll do that later. But what do we got in the fidelity? The reason I use fidelity is because there's also some stocks and some securities that's not available on Robinhood because they're either on the OTC or a different exchange in a different country as well. So I got Avant Brands, I got Planet 13, I got Voyager. I'm down 31%, I'm down 23% and 29% respectively in those accounts. So I'm just looking at to see if there's any buying opportunities. Whatever stock that I'm the lowest in, and assuming that it's not overly weighted. Right now they're all about even. They're 1100, 1100, and 1500, so they're pretty close. And then I got Tattoo Chef, which is another growth stock I'm in. So I own 4 growth stocks. Avant Brands, Planet 13, Voyager. You guys just see me use the Voyager app. So if I'm going to have most of my money on that exchange, why not buy some of their stocks and see what happens? So I'm big on Voyager, as Voyager is my biggest crypto holding at the moment and my biggest stock holding at the moment. So we're betting big on Voyager. We're going to see if Voyager could become the next Amazon, and if it does, hey, we should be all Gucci over here. Okay, so my biggest L so far is Avant Brands. I can't buy that right now. Actually, I could buy a little bit of Avant Brands. I believe I got like $1 or something left over. I got $1.49, so I could buy $1.49 worth of Avant Brands. But let's see what we got in the chat. You can use, yeah, so depending on which exchange. So with Voyager, one thing I don't like about Voyager is you can't exchange your Bitcoin for, you can't trade your Bitcoin for Ethereum in exchange between cryptos. You have to buy it, then you have to sell it either back to USDC or back into the dollar and then buy another crypto. But since I'm holding crypto for the long term, that wasn't a big turnoff for me at the moment. Somebody says he doesn't like Cardano's history, but it's forecast to rise this year. Let's see, always ready. Say, I've made a lot of money buying crypto. I buy stocks too, and there's nothing wrong with diversifying your money. Nothing wrong with, well, there's the only bad thing about diversifying your money is if you, let's say you buy 10 stocks, but there's really 2 stocks that you like, but you have it divided evenly amongst those 10 stocks, and those 2 stocks that you like doubled, well, your portfolio's not going to double because you didn't have all your money in that particular stock. So if you really believe in one stock and it takes off like Shiba Inu did for me, but since I was so well diversified, I only had $300 in it, and when it 10x, and so if I would have had all my money, my 10,000 at the time would have turned into 100,000. But since I was well diversified, that 300 just went to 3,500 when Shiba went to the top. So that's the only bad thing about diversifying is when you hit a home run. When you hit a home run on a particular stock and you're diversified, it doesn't increase your portfolio value. So I'm looking at this account. There's nothing really doing, but maybe I'll drop the link if somebody wants to come on. I'm not sure if anybody wants to come on and talk stocks. I wanted to keep these shorter. I was thinking maybe an hour, but somebody wanted me to talk about Reits, so we're gonna talk about Reits real quick. And the reason why I like Reits, because Reits could be good passive income. Okay, slide you over. So Reits that I own, I think I own two at the time. Gladstone's is a REIT, and Prospect Capital is a mortgage REIT. Okay. So the reason why I like real estate investment trusts is because most of these companies have to pay their profits to their shareholders. Up to about 90% of their profits gets redistributed to shareholders. So there's REITs for different categories: shopping complexes, industrial complexes, apartments, hotels, stuff like that. Anything involved with real estate. So housing, stores, industrial buildings, anything like that. Even hospitals. There's hospital REITs. So they pretty much own the building and they lease out the building to different companies like Target, McDonald's. So whenever you go to a shopping center, I'm gonna do a video, but when you go to a particular shopping center in your neighborhood, there's a sign that says who owns that shopping center, and it will usually have the ticker symbol if it's a publicly traded company, and if it's a privately owned entity, it will say it's owned by this shopping center is owned by this private industry. And if they have empty buildings and you want to lease out one of those buildings, they'll give you a contact number. But in terms of REITs, when you go to these shopping centers, you can actually invest into the shopping centers in which you shop at, that has the Targets, the movie theater, all the restaurants. You know, it might have a Michael's in it, it might have a Lucky's, a Kroger's, whatever stores it may have in it. But you can invest in that company. And since those shopping centers are always going to have a tenant, because we all know once Target gets a building, they will usually stay in that building for like 20 or 30 years, because there's McDonald's, there's Walmart's that's been at that same place, and that McDonald's has been there even since before I was born. So you could bank on that company keeping and renewing its lease. So therefore, whatever entity owns that particular shopping center, they're always going to stay in business, and they're always going to have income to redistribute to its shareholders. So one that I bought was Kimco Realty, because that appears to be one of the shopping centers that I go to a lot, that I frequent as a customer. So I said, why not invest in it? And I think up until this particular day, if I'm looking at it right here, Kimco, on a percentage basis, is my biggest profiter maker so far. And it also pays a dividend as well. So when I slide through right here, you can see all the dividends I've gotten paid through Kimco. Let me back it up real quick. The only thing with Kimco is that I should have bought more of it, but I didn't. We got David Lilly. He says it sucks. It sucks. I'm 40 now, taking it seriously. Well, it's never too late to get in the game. It's never so. I got 3 dividend payments. I definitely got to add to it, but I have a different investment strategy for dividend stocks, and it just hasn't been that time to buy Kimco right now. But it's never too late to take investing seriously, because there's so many different investment strategies that could grow your money faster. So if you ever wanted to know how rich people get rich in the stock market, it's because they teach y'all Negroes, to invest in a 401k, invest into an IRA, and take the safe route and get your 7 to 12% yearly average of increase onto your portfolio. But what if I told you that if you could study the stock market and be able to find value in stocks, and instead of putting all of your money into an ETF or mutual fund, an index fund, or a 401k. What if I told you that if you studied the stock market and bought and found the value in the stocks, instead of getting that 7 to 12%, what if I told you you could get 50%? What if I told you you could get 65%? What if I told you you could get 100% return on your money in a 2 to 3 year period? Now you'd be able to take 10 grand, and in 2 years that 10 grand will be now 20 grand, and you could double up your money. Well, if I told you you could find a stock that could return you 1,000%, well, now that 10 grand times 10 becomes 100,000 on a much shorter time frame, because you were able to study the market, because you read the earnings report, you sat in on the earnings call, you looked at the balance sheet, you look at the income statement, the 10Qs and all that stuff. So that's what you got. You just got to be able to study the market and have the time to do it. And there's a lot of people that are on YouTube who actually do this for a living, where they give you all the jewels and gems. You got Earn Your Leisure, you got the Four Horsemen, you got the Wall Street Trapper. So there's a lot of people out there who's giving good advice in terms of the stock market, even though they might not tell you, they might not give you financial advice, but you can see what a millionaire does with their money. You can see why a millionaire put their money into a particular stock, and as that stock goes up and down, you can see that particular millionaire talk about the emotional attachment that they have with their stock, why they bought more of that stock when it went down, and you could see what they're doing, and you could try to emulate some of their success into your process. Somebody says life insurance as well. Whole term life insurance is a huge grift. Yeah, there's people getting rich on life insurance policies. We got Sheep going up 5%. Okay, Sheep. And we had David Little. He said $10. He says, thank you for sharing this beneficial knowledge. Please hit the Cash App, support the show. I didn't even ask, hit the like button. How many likes we got today? We got 21 likes and 16 people watching. But what were we talking about? We were talking about Reits. That's right. Somebody wants to know about Reits. So if I go to my REIT list, we're going to talk about ticker symbol O, because this is one of the more popular REITs that people own. This is one of the more popular REITs that people own. So Realty Income Corporation is a real estate company which engages in generating dependable monthly cash dividends from a consistent and predictable level of cash flow from operations. This company was founded by William E. Clark Jr. and Evelyn Joan Clark in 1969 and is headquartered in San Diego, California. The listed name for O is Realty Income Corporation. So that's a business model that's easy to understand. They're able to generate dependable monthly cash dividends from consistent and predictable levels of cash flow from operations. Because when you operate as a real estate investment trust that owns shopping centers, and you could lease out your buildings and people sign a lease for a year or a 5-year lease, well, then you could chart the income of what that shopping center in this particular city is going to make, and you could add that up throughout all the shopping centers that you own throughout the country, and you could now pay out the profits to your shareholders because it's predictable, because you got everybody in 3 to 10 year leases, and you can be able to predict stuff. So now we're going to look at we are going to look at ticker symbol O, and we're going to see what they own, what's in their portfolio when it comes to real estate. You gotta pull up their website to see what they own. So when you go to ticker symbol O real quick, you could actually see all the stuff that they own. So all of the Dollar Generals that you've been shopping at for your whole life. So they own 11,000 commercial properties. And of those 11,000 commercial properties, 98.8% are occupied, and they own them in 60 different industries. You got the asset management. Let's see. But that's not what I was looking for. That's not what am I looking for? They usually have a map. So let's look at top 20 clients. When you look at their top 20 clients, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, so they got 592 leases with 7-Eleven, 246 Walgreens, 859 Dollar Generals, FedExes, LA Fitness, AMC's, Home Depot, 22 Kroger's. So those are just some of their clients. Let's see. So when you look at geographic, we're going to select the state. I live in California. What do they own in California? So they got 257 properties in California. 98% of them are leased. And they bring in 82% of rental value. And then they even got, looks like they got some stuff in Europe as well. So let's look at the United Kingdom. They got 107 properties in the United Kingdom. And 100% of them are leased out, so they're all filled. Okay, I'm trying to see. So there's usually a page where you can actually look at and see the specific storefronts and shopping centers that they own, but I'm having a hard time finding that. Then you got all of their stock information right here in the investment section. But the reason why you like Reits, because like they said, if they could own all of these shopping centers throughout the country and have them leased out on a 98% up to full capacity, well then you could do a couple of things. And one of the things they do, with all that income money coming in, they could then go out and buy and acquire other buildings to lease out through real estate, because they have all this income coming in. So when they go out and buy, it's easier for them to get loans, or if another real estate investment trust wants to sell one of their shopping centers, realty income could come in and buy it, and they could put their own strategy into that shopping center to get those vacancies that are in that shopping center filled up with top clients. So that's basically how real estate investment that's how REITs work. Let me check out the chat room real quick. We got Sheila and Cool Gent in the building. Looks like they just woke up 40 minutes after the bell. But let's see, we're going to go ahead and buy some more stocks real quick. Let me bring this back up. Let me bring this back up. I gotta think, how much money do I have to spend? I just bought crypto. Let's get over to the M1 Finance. I did what? Trying to see as it Gonna have me enter my password. I don't want y'all to see the password. Okay. So I had 170 to spend on crypto. That means I had 170 to spend on stock because I do 10% of a paycheck, each one per week. And then last week I spent 50 and 40, so that's 90. So I have $80 to spend. I have $80 to spend. And I think we're gonna spend that on a growth stock and in a dividend stock. Because Lumen Technologies is down for some reason. I gotta see why Lumen. Look at that. Everybody done see me put in my password. That's crazy right there. That's crazy right there. Wow, look at that right there. Let me go. Let me watch that on the replay real quick. I gotta watch that on the replay. Everybody just watching me put in my password. That's crazy. Look at that right there. I'm watching it on the replay on my phone right now. Look at that. I'm watching on the. Look at that right there. Everybody just see me. Wow, I gotta change my password. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. But back to the phone view. Back to the phone view. Go back to the portfolio. So Lumen Technologies is down 17% for some reason. I'm gonna make sure that they did not cut the dividend because it looks like they had a bad earnings call. So the best way to see what happens in one of your stocks that has a bad earnings call, I go over to Seeking Alpha. We go to the Lumen Technologies homepage and we're going to see why this stock is down 16%. Look at the 5-day trend right here. It was riding good at 12, approaching 13, and then it dropped to below 11. So you got the transcripts to the earnings call presentation. So whatever happened on that earnings call, it'll be right here. So let's see. You can't even read that. Okay, so it's giving you click to enlarge. We make you go away. Okay. So we just looking at some of the bills. Okay, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. This is giving me the fourth quarter of 2021 because I don't have a previous quarter to adjust it to. It's looking like the numbers are in line. But I want the earnings call though. I don't want that. Okay, they haven't gone the transcript yet, so I would have to actually listen to it on the Robinhood app. And I don't want to do that because I will bore y'all Negroes to death. But you can see it right here. It misses by 3 cents of EPS and the revenue of 4.85 billion. So they missed revenues. Their projections only by $10 million. So it gives you a little overview. But then you go down to the comment section. Now the only people that's going to comment about the stock of Lumen Technologies is people who are actually invested in Lumen Technologies. Somebody asks, what will dividend be after it is cut? I don't think they're cutting the dividend. Somebody says it's still an excellent value. People don't like the CEO. So people, hmm. Yeah, so it looks like I'm gonna have to listen to the earnings calls about Lumen before I buy it. But everything that I read yesterday said they just missed revenue by 10 million, which wasn't much, but the fundamentals of the company were still intact. Okay, looks like they cut guidance due to asset sales, so they had to sell some assets. But everybody's saying the dividend is going to be safe. So the best thing about dividend stocks, when we go back here, this is why you want to buy dividend stocks when they're low. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're back. The reason why you want to buy, so Lumen Technologies, they pay a 25-cent dividend per quarter on an annual basis. So that's 25 cents. No, 25%, a dollar annually, and 25 cents per quarter. So if we know that, and we know if you it was it was at 12, so just below 13, you would have to pay more money to get that dividend. So for every hundred, so if it's closer to 10, basically every $100 of this stock that you buy, you would get $1 a year in dividend income, if that makes sense. If it's at $20, you will only get 50 cents per dividend on the annual return because the stock price go up. So the stock price is lower for a dividend. You have to pay less money to get that $1 annual return. So when dividend stocks do lose their price, that's good. But you also gotta watch out for the dividend trap, because if the dividend stock price goes down so much, it's probably because the company is gonna cut the dividend. So if you buy a dividend stock with a super high dividend yield, you gotta be wary of the dividend trap. You gotta check the health of the financials of that company, because they could cut the dividend, and then when the dividend gets cut, everybody's gonna sell that stock because everybody wanted the passive income. So not only do you lose your passive income, but then you also use that capital appreciation. You also lose the equity in what you had in that stock. So you just gotta be wary of that, and you gotta check that. But we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna buy, since we got $80 to spend. Let's see if I put all of that. If I put $80 into Lumen Technologies, that will bring me, because I like staying balanced. That'll bring me to 330. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and buy some Lumen Technologies. We're gonna buy. I gotta add money to the account. I gotta add money to the account. Okay. Okay, so now we got $86 to play with because AM Ontario Midstreams paid me a $6 dividend yesterday. So we got money to play with. Okay, I think I'm gonna buy some tattoo chef. So I'm gonna go ahead and split it. I'm gonna go ahead and split that 86. Let's see, four, three. Okay, three. We're gonna buy 3 shares of tattoo chef, and the rest will go. And the rest will go to Lumen Technologies. So that should give me about 4. Okay, so we bought 4 shares of Lumen Technologies, or what I like to call CenturyLink. Then we go ahead and we slide that back up. So now, so basically, every Monday that comes, I donate $5 a day into my dividend portfolio. Whatever at the bottom is gonna get the money, or whatever is down the most. So next week it looks like I'll either be buying more Lumen or I'll be buying Gladstone right now because that's at the bottom. This depends on, because I want to buy. I don't like buying stocks when they're in the green. I like buying them when they're in the red because I know I'm getting a better value for it. So I try to buy in the red and don't buy in the green. And see, we got John Johnson says that's a market I'm looking at for short term investment, raw material for computers. Okay. Somebody says, what do I think about the looming crash? I mean, crashes are always good because the stock market always recovers. There's never been a situation where the stock market hasn't recovered. So if stocks crash, you're just buying assets at a discounted price instead of a fair or an overmarked price. So when crashes come, you just gotta have money on the sidelines to deploy into the market. The worst feeling is when your favorite stock crashes and you don't have any money to buy that stock to take advantage of the crash. Dion Davis says, I always thought that you never buy dividend stocks for the sake of getting a dividend. You only buy them for that reason when you are in your older years. That's very much true. You don't buy stocks just for the dividend. You gotta find a company that you liked, and I liked CenturyLink, aka Lumen Technologies, after the name change, so it has a good dividend. I think it's a good company that can maintain paying that dividend over the years. I think it's a good company that could give services to its customers and maintain doing businesses with those customers and maintain the business over a long time. And I see the price of that stock increasing over the years as well. See, John Johnson says, I got the bird hands, I got my Birdman hands rubbing, but I'm also focused on who will be refurbishing computer parts with chip shortages. So what are some of the companies that are in that do the whole ship, who do businesses with computer chips? I want to say AMD is one. Let me go to my tech outlook. Okay, AMD is one. You got MU, Intel, Qualcomm, Skyworks. What, Nvidia? I heard Nvidia is a real good company. Let's see what Nvidia is doing. Okay, Nvidia over the year. Okay, it's up 83% over the year. Over the last 5 years, if you've been in Nvidia over the last 5 years, it's done good as it's returned 831%. So you could have 7x your money if you bought it way back 5 years ago, and if you added it continually throughout the last 5 years, you could see that you would have grown your money. But if you bought it here at the top, and when it was at 329, you're upset because you've seen it drop to 264. That's why you always want to do evaluation, and you can see that it had a small little dip and then it shot up. So it looks like there were some people who had FOMO, the fear of missing out. Then when it got here, all the people who was buying it throughout here, they sold out when they got to 329 and took some profits. It looks like. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Here we go. So we're looking at Nvidia stock. Over the last 5 years, it's up 830%. You could have bought it way back when it was $26 5 years ago. So if you bought it throughout here, you were in line for a, looks like a 3 to 7x right here. If you just bought it throughout the years, you would have made yourself some good money. So whenever you buy stocks for the long term, since I'm a long-term investor, you can see back in 2017 to almost 2019 that if you would have bought it here, you've been buying Nvidia over that year and a half period, anywhere between $26 and $44. So one of the big misconceptions about stocks is you have to have a large amount of money to invest in stock at one time. But what people don't tell you is that you actually have a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years to buy a stock like Nvidia in between the prices of, let's say, $25 and $50. So from November 1st, 2019 to February 10th, 2017, and that's probably even before that. But if you knew about Nvidia stock and knew what it was, and I think in about 2018 the name Nvidia was getting big, but you basically had a 20 to 24 month period to actually put your money into a stock. So you don't need $10,000 all at one time to invest in a stock. You could do $100 this month, $100 next month, and if you got $150 each month, or maybe if 1 month maybe you have $2,000, you could drop it into that Nvidia stock, and then you put it in there, and then you set it and forget it, and then you watch it take off, and next thing you know, that $5,000 to $10,000 that you had over that 2 year period in which you were investing, now that money 7x's. You do your 10,000 times 7, now you're at 70,000. And that's how people get rich in the stock market. They put their money in, they let that money grow. Then once that 10,000 turns into 100,000 or 70,000, just from that one stock that you bought in your portfolio, not to mention all the other stocks that could have grown at that time. Now, over the next 5 years, you have some money to play with. So when David Little said he's in his 40s and it's too late, it's not too late, because if you put money in when he's 41 to about 43, he puts $10,000 into 4 stocks over that 2 year period from when he's 41 to 43. Then when he's 44 to 49, now that money, that 40,000 he put in 7x's, now he's got money to do something. He could put a down payment on the house. He could get into real estate the old-fashioned way. He has himself a nice cushion. And not to mention, while that money's growing, he's building out other positions in his portfolio as well. So that's just all you want to do about the stock market. You just got to be patient. You got to have a plan. You got to be disciplined. Dion Davis says, you don't day trade. I do not day trade. I do not day trade. And the reason why I don't day trade is because I cannot predict the market on a short term basis. On a short term basis, it's very hard to predict the market. But there's some people who all they do is study the ins and outs of day trading so they can find the trends and make themselves a profit. I just haven't found anybody who could teach it at that level into which I can understand it and then go out and execute a similar plan or develop a plan of my own. So what other chip companies? We're talking about chip companies. Another one that I actually bought, and tomorrow I already know I'm gonna do a video on my worst trades, and I think AMD was one of my worst trades because, as you can see, back in September 2018, I bought one share of AMD at 31.78. I bought one share at 31.78. And then I guess I bought another share of AMD. Let's go back to this AMD right here. Yes, this is AMD right here. Then I did a limit buy. I bought another share at 31.83. So somebody told me about AMD. I knew exactly what AMD was. And then of those shares that they dropped from 31 to $23, and instead of buying more AMD, I actually sold those shares of AMD at $23. So I lost $16. And you can see right now AMD is at $130, and at its all-time high it was at 161. So back in September of 2018, let's go back to September of 2018. We could go back to it right here. We were right here. We see the dip where it went down to 23, actually $17. And if I would have just stuck it out and just kept investing into AMD over that time period, I would have made a lot of money. But at that time, I was young in my stock market year. So tomorrow, I'm going to do a video of my worst trades. So AMD was one of my worst trades. John Johnson says, yo, I apps with your market outlook GMT. I never came over because I thought it was all crypto. John Johnson says, you got scared. It happens. Yep, I got scared. Another company that I bought was Neo, and I was actually in Neo for quite a while. Then after the pandemic, I sold Neo to get into dividend stocks because I saw dividend stocks. I saw their prices fall, and I knew which dividend stocks were going to keep their dividend because they said as much on their earnings call during the pandemic. So I had rebalanced into dividend stocks for that time. But I'm trying to follow the chat. Looks like somebody got deleted. What did they say? Okay, looks like it's me got hidden for good reasons. We got Deacons of Defense in the building. Mike Shinnery says REITs have to pay out a high percentage of their profits back to investors, which is good. Some people say older people invest in dividends for the income in their retirement years. So let's say if you owned enough of a stock, let's say you owned 100,000 Lumen Technology stocks and you get $1 dividend. Well, now you got $100,000 in passive income for that year. So depending on what dividend stocks that you own, and if you've been in the game long enough, you could live off your passive income that you get for dividend stocks. But it takes a lot of money to do that. The reason why some of the people are able to do that is we were able to put $10,000 into a growth stock And then that stock 10x is now you have $100,000 to put into a dividend stock, and now you could get passive income on your later years at life. So that's what some people are able to do, and they're able to live off and survive off their passive income from dividends. John Johnson says you had it at 23. I sold it at 23. So yes, I did have it at 23, but I sold it at 23. So tomorrow I'm gonna do my worst trades that I ever made, so people can see that as well. Because you gotta, if you talk about your wins, you gotta talk about your L's, because you learn a lot from the L's that you take in the stock market. I guess I'll drop the link since it's only 8 o'clock. It's still really early. I'll drop the StreamYard link, and if anybody wants to come up, they have a question or want me to do a video specifically on something instead of rambling through everything, because I really hate rambling through these things. I want to stay on a specific topic or a specific stock or a specific niche within the stock market. But let me drop the link real quick, see if anybody wants to come on. Give me 1 second. There we go. Where did my headphones go? Where did my headphones go? Okay, copy the link. So if anybody wants to come up, I'm getting ready to drop the link. Getting ready to drop the link real quick. Some reason my computer's going really slow for some reason. I know why. I got this screen share going up. Let's see, can the people even still hear me? Okay, it looks like I'm still on. Okay, drop the link. Alright, the link's in the chat. We're gonna pin it to the top. And if you want to come on and ask GMT a specific question or want me to talk about a specific topic, I'll do that as well. Let me find my headphones. They're right there. Okay, we done found the headphones. And I'll wait for somebody to come up. Okay. This looks like somebody said he's holding CGC. Somebody says, I can't come up, but you don't believe in penny stocks, do you? I actually own a couple of penny stocks. Okay, we got somebody to come up. We got David Little in the building.
How you doing, GMT?
I'm doing good.
Just like I had a quick question for you. I was taking notes while I was listening. You know, because I mean, again, like I've done stocks before. Like I would do it passively.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked at Walmart, I did it passively and I withdrew them. I wish I didn't. This was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to dip my toe back in the market, at least to have some actual, savings for down the line. And as I mentioned, I'm 40 now. What would be a good starter app in your experience to start that directly or to even like try it out?
A good starting app?
Yeah.
I couldn't recommend just one app. What I would say is use a combination of apps. So it depends on what you want to do, because you got to come up with your own investment strategy. Do you want to invest for the long term? Do you want to invest for the short term? Do you want to trade options? It depends on your investment strategy you want to do. And the reason I say use more apps, because some apps have articles in regards into giving beginners, beginning investment advice. And then some apps, when you buy a stock, you would get articles on the stock that you bought, and you could follow that company and follow their earnings reports whenever that information comes out. And there isn't one particular app that does everything in the there isn't one app that does everything and has everything ready available for you. But I would say two apps that I would recommend, or three apps I would recommend. I would recommend Robinhood, I would recommend M1 Finance, and I would recommend Seeking Alpha.
Gotcha. So I have Robinhood, but I have an old account that I can't have access to, so I have to recreate it
Mm-hmm.
or figure it out. I just downloaded M1 Finance, so I'm gonna definitely look for Seeking Alpha as well.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I had Webull, and I think Webull gives you a free stock, but it's like not the best option.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like with these three, looks like with how you describe in these apps, you can kind of sort of choose exactly what you want versus them giving you one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for more of a long-term investment because, again, I'm not getting any younger. I'm gonna start breaking down in like probably 10 or 12, 20 years. So, I don't want to be like your boys, like you said yesterday on the last stream. You don't want to be them dudes at 67 years old. Like, well, how did you do it?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get at least while I'm actually in my apex years. I'm about to reach middle age, so I might as well at least start now
Mm-hmm.
before it's too late. Even though you can start any time, but I want to get that long-term investment.
Mm-hmm.
You
So,
know.
I want to say the first thing you want to do is you want to put together your watch list, because you want to be able to track certain stocks. And once you start watching certain stocks, you'll be able to see the valuation of a certain stock. Because if you just jump on a hot stock that's at the top of its evaluation, like Zoom was during the pandemic when it exploded, and you're buying Zoom at the top because it's the hot stock, and then that stock price drops 50%, you're going to be mad that you're, in your later years investing, and you saw 50% of your money go down in equity.
Gotcha.
So you want to be able to track a stock and then find a valuation in which you're comfortable with going into that stock. And then when that stock drops, since you have your own fair market valuation, you won't be emotional when it goes down. You'll be able to say, okay, I like this stock at $200. I should love this stock at $125. Let me put more money into this stock when it's at a lower price than when it was at a higher price, and let me wait and put more money in that stock throughout this time frame, so when that stock price does recover, my profits are going to be bigger.
And you were saying 1 to 3 years, like typically?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yo, you are definitely offering a lot of meat on the bone advice this morning, man. It's better than dating coach advice. I'm tired of that. Like, I'm tired of all that stuff. I'm done with all that stuff. You know what I mean? We need even the non-selected Sims need to start, instead of investing in like the craziness, they need to start investing in themselves. And that's what I'm doing right now. As I get older. Only reason why I did say on the chat about life insurance being a grift, they said short term is good, but what happened was I got grifted into whole life, and apparently you don't get any of that money back at the end. They only get the death. They pay for your death, but that's about it. There's no real living. Like my person explained to me, it's no living expense. Living benefits for it. It's just only in case you die. That's basically all it's good for.
Yeah, so you want to find a life insurance that gives you some living benefits, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
While I'm still alive, not banking on me just croaking so they can take the money, and they give me whatever's left on the face, just to take care of my funeral arrangements and stuff. Yeah, like right now, I got grifted by, one of those brokers and whatnot. It happens. Right now, I'm trying to get out of the policy as it is. But yeah, someone they explained to me and said, dude, you might as well take some of that money and just throw it right in the stocks. Why blow away $100 a month when you can put like 20 something dollars in the policy and then put whatever you can in stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that sounds like a wise idea. I mean, what's your take on that, GMT?
Uh, I mean, that sounds like a good idea, but for me, I have a life insurance policy that gives me living benefits. So I have a alert or a URL.
Mm-hmm.
So after the cash accumulates over a couple years, I think I may be 2 years away to where I could access some of the money if I wanted to. But that's what I
Yeah.
have. I have an index universal life insurance.
Let me
Gotcha.
ask you,
Gotcha.
may I ask you a question then? Um, so 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 do you what would you prefer, cryptocurrency or stocks that has dividends?
Hmm.
What do I prefer? I don't have. I actually like them both.
Okay. Which one? Okay, okay, because I think people are putting too much into crypto when you got stocks out there that has dividends that will pay you back money, within the month. So I just want to know what would be your top five, top 10 when it comes to stocks that have dividends?
It depends. To me, it depends on what kind of dividend company are you looking for. Are you looking for a growth dividend? Are you looking for a value growth company that the company pays a dividend, but it's not that big, but the stock of that price is going to grow up because they're not paying
I
all
mean,
their profits to the shareholders so they can reinvest back into their business and grow it. Then you have
I mean, I
REITs.
mean, I mean, stocks like, companies like Panasonic, HP, Ford, even Ford, Ford Motors.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
now just start doing dividends again. You said, what else? What else? Another one that do dividends. Man, there was some other corporation who I invested in. They also do dividends. Corporations like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think though people should not sleep on those type of dividends, or those type of corporations that do those dividends?
You shouldn't sleep on them. I want to say I invested into Ford when they had their dividend, and then during
Yeah,
the,
but
and then during
yeah,
the,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
and then during the pandemic, they had cut their dividend, and
Right.
Mm.
Yeah,
it.
but I read reports though that they're gonna restart their dividends.
Okay, let me go ahead and look it up because that website I was talking about, Seeing Alpha, you could look at when they do dividends,
Uh
and then like I was telling David Little, the best apps to use when you use Seeking Alpha and you link your brokerage account to Seeking Alpha. Whenever a company cuts a dividend or declares that they're going to pay a dividend, you get that notification on your phone like a text message, so you could better
Mm.
see what that company's doing.
huh.
But I'm looking at Ford right now. I'm pulling up their dividend history, and I'm going to see if they reinstated their dividend. Okay, so yes, they just did reinstate a 10-cent dividend, and they declared it January 9th, and they're going to pay that out February 28th. But it's only 10 cents. So Ford, when you look at their dividends, they had a 15-cent dividend, and before it was 15 cents. It looks like they may have paid a specialty dividend or whatever. So it increased from 10 cents to 12 and a half cents to 15, and then they cut it during the pandemic years, and they just reinstated back to 10 cents. But it's at $18.
Right.
And when I was buying Ford at 15, it was closer to $10. So like I was saying, once a company pays a dividend and if they pay a bigger dividend, it's harder for that business to grow because they don't have the money to reinvest back into the business and grow it.
Right.
So it all so when you buy a dividend stock, it just really depends on your dividend investment strategy. Are you looking for the stock price to grow? Are you looking for the stock price to relatively stay the same and you're going to just use the passive income? Are you taking a bigger risk that the company's stock price may go down even though it's paying a super large dividend? Are you going to be in it for 2 to 3 years? How long are you going to stick with it?
No. Okay. Hey, now what are the companies that that pays out the biggest dividend? Do you know? Do you know any of those type of corporations? 'Cause I think I have a EFT, no ETF.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you. I'm not on my Robinhood right now, but I'm looking at it. I'm just trying to increase my dividend, stocks. Because that was one thing I slept on
Mhm.
was the
Mhm.
ETFs. I
Mm-hmm.
slept I
Mhm.
slept slept on those. So yeah.
So,
Because I did have stock in Rolls Royce, but that was just a disappointment. Because I thought though, because since they make aircraft engines, I thought that because of military spending is increasing in the UK and also
Mm.
in the United States. That's why I was trying to increase stock in that, and just going up and down and ain't going anywhere. So
Not consistent at all. Yeah.
I tell you what.
I was gonna say there's no consistency.
Right. Because I was expecting because military expenditures. I thought, well, no, let me get up in every corporation that does military hardware, and I kept,
Mm.
and I'm just looking at them like, man, how come it's not increasing? You know, and I'm talking Royce especially. So, because
Yeah.
Royce is kind of cheap, and I don't know if Boeing is a or is Boeing, is Boeing still around? I don't know if Boeing is still,
yeah, bonus soul
I
around.
think they still. Yeah, they're
yeah,
still around.
yeah. I
They're
mean,
still a big
so yeah,
manufacturer.
okay.
And I did have a random question too. Before I'm gonna head out in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Is it with crypto? Is it the fact that crypto has a faster return rate why it's so popular? Or, what's your take on that, Grandmaster?
Okay, I'm gonna try to explain to you the best I can.
Yeah, that's fine too. Take your time. Take your
Okay,
time.
the difference between the dividends that stocks pay and the passive
Mm-hmm.
income that you get from the dividends and the passive income you could get for crypto is that crypto's return can possibly be bigger. So let's say if you bought Bitcoin back in 2012 when Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
was at $100. Let's say you bought 10 Bitcoins at $100. Now let's say if you bought a stock that pays a 10% dividend yield. So over the years, for every $100 that you had invested, you get $1 back in passive income. With crypto, if you bought Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoins, and you're able to get a 5% return on that Bitcoin, so in 2012, 5% of $100 is $5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your dividend income is going to be bigger. But what happens is since Bitcoin's price has exploded into 50,000, imagine getting a 5% passive income from an asset that's at 50,000 or at 30,000 or at 20,000. So it could possibly be bigger, but it's less predictable because the price of Bitcoin is more volatile than the price of a dividend stock. And you could follow the safetiness of the dividend stock by seeing if the company is increasing profits, increasing revenue, and keeping expenses lower. If that makes sense, because you have mathematics to back up a dividend payout, but you don't have mathematics to know if that crypto is going to keep paying you interest years down the line. It's all speculative.
Gotcha. So crypto is more like get it now, it's gonna grow now, where stock rises over time, rises and falls over time. If that
Well,
makes sense.
yeah, it's like that, but stocks do rise up over time. Companies do increase their dividends. You can follow the dividend aristocrats and you can see what companies follow the dividend aristocrats, what companies are dividend kings that have increased their dividends over a 25, even 50-year period. But with Bitcoin, when you get interest from an exchange, they could change the interest and the requirements of those interest payments at any moment's notice.
Gotcha. Okay, now it makes a lot more sense now
hmm
than my previous concept of what it is.
So,
Yo, yeah,
yes,
go ahead, go ahead.
so right now, one of my favorite passive incomes for crypto is Polkadot because they pay a 12% interest. So if you have 100 Polkadots, that means each month you're going to get paid one Polkadot. Right now the price of Polkadot is $15. So if you had 100 Polkadots, you'll get one, which is 15, which is no Polkadot. It's actually $21. So imagine getting $21 of interest. But then the price of Polkadot at its highest was $55. So having 100 Polkadot gives you one Polkadot, which is $55. So if you think Polkadot down in 5 years could be worth $200 or $150, well, now you could predict the interest of that Polkadot, but it's harder to come up with that plan because you don't know if that exchange or whatever exchanges you're going to be using are going to keep paying interest on that Polkadot because they could change it at any moment, or the price of crypto could crash at any moment.
It's far more volatile. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
I'm sorry. Where do you buy Polkadot?
So I buy Polkadot on the Voyager exchange, and when you go over there and you click on their earn rewards thing, it shows you all the cryptos that they pay interest on and how much minimum of that crypto you have to maintain in your on that exchange to get that interest.
Okay.
So if you go on exchanges like Coinbase, like BlockFi, and others, and there's also other staking farms, but you gotta go listen to somebody else to give you that knowledge on it. But you could earn interest on your crypto.
Okay. All right then. I appreciate the information, Grandmaster Troll. I gotta get going. So, wish I could
All
stay.
right, Big J.
All right, then. I see you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely beneficial information, Grandmaster, man. You know, it's time to stop talking about the niggified stuff and let's get on some real money talk.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, it's definitely beneficial for even young guys like me because unfortunately, my parents never knew anything about this. So for me, it's like a crash course,
Mm-hmm.
And like my objective is to do it not, actively, but passively.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm not harping on it like constantly, because I know a lot of people, they harp on it, but I mean it's good to stay on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to definitely keep it in the background. One final question with the real estate piece.
Mm-hmm.
I could look through like is there any other apps like for real estate and things, or just whatever I buy I can check that company?
So whenever you invest into a company,
Mm-hmm.
all of that company's information is going to be on their website, and that's going to be the best place to find it. It's on their website in regards to their events that they have, their conference calls, and anything financially related to that company. So if you're looking for a REIT, and let's say you wanted to take ownership or be a part of what they're doing in certain areas. So let's say there's a hotel that you like going to, or a stores or a shopping center you like shopping at, or even a place that you work with that's owned by a real estate investment trust, you could look that up and you can see what those locations are just by going on Google and searching it.
Investment trust. So I had to notate that, man, because you're definitely giving some meat here. Some meat, some things to chomp on. As I'm like taking that passive income, that I'm making money now. So it's time to start spreading the wealth so it could become more, at the same time. But hey, Grandmaster Troll, I got to get running. I got some errands to run. Yo, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate these notes and advice you provided, man. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, man. Definitely.
Oh, thank you. It was great having
right,
you
man.
on. But and one more thing before you go, because you said you wanted to invest in a passive way. So you could use M1 Finance, you could use Robinhood, and those apps will allow money to be withdrawn from your account, and you could decide which stocks they go to. And if you invest in a dividend stock, when that stock pays you that dividend, you could turn on the DRIP, which is a dividend reinvestment plan, and they will reinvest that dividend back into that stock, so you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. It basically handles everything on its own.
Awesome. I just got to monitor it and make sure everything's going the way I want it to.
Yep.
Because I definitely want to put this, the big long-term investment strategy for me, like crypto, some kind of real estate, researching the companies, and put that in the background as I work, instead of, relying on a 401k and things like that. That's the last thing I really want to rely on.
Yeah.
I learned they get rich off that. Whoever is like in that, they technically get rich off me going into the creating a 401k.
Yeah.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah,
But at the same time, though, or I could jokingly, if only OnlyFans had a stock option, I'd be making money off of Simps, bro.
Yeah. or imagine having a 401k, imagine having an RIA, imagine having a life insurance that gives you a living benefit, and then you add that in with your crypto and your own stock portfolio. So by the time you do get into retirement age, you have all of these investment vehicles working for you.
Wow. I wouldn't have to worry about nothing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
At the same point. I appreciate that. I just notated that down because that's part of my homework for my day off today. It's actually researching a lot of this.
Yeah, because
getting things together.
Because when it's time for you to cash out of your 401k, you can then now take that money and put it in your crypto portfolio or put it in your stock portfolio.
Gotcha. Man, this is why old people can buy stuff instead of having to pay per month, they pay per year. That's where I want to be at.
Mm-hmm.
I work in the cell phone industry. When they come in, a lot of those big wigs, when they come in, they're not financing anything. They're just paying the phone off like it ain't nothing. Like, oh, I'll buy the phone.
Yeah.
And I'll pay a year's worth of service. That's what inspired me. That's where I want to be at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm not constantly financing things. I want to be at a point where I'm so diversified that I don't have to really look back and forth. Of course, watch the stocks and things like that. But yeah, I don't want to be constantly running on the rat race. Constantly hooked up to the machine in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Forced to work, but at least retire and work a menial job, like something really easy. By that age, not oppressively working hard and having money work for me rather than me constantly working for it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm gonna step out, GMT, man. Definitely, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for allowing me on your panel. And I appreciate all this info you provided me. We have this on replay.
Yeah, so it'll be up.
Oh, excellent. I'll probably, watch more of the video, try to get it from the beginning so I came in the tail middle of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Hey, you have a great day. Thanks, GMT.
Yep, you have a great day too.
All right, man. Thanks again.
All right. So Salute to David Little and Big J Triple X coming on. Does anybody else want to come on before I shut this one down? Does anybody else want to come on? So I gotta charge my phone. Oh, look at that. They almost caught me slipping again. They almost caught me slipping again. Hold on, I gotta check the portfolios real quick. See if anything's happened. Nope, nothing's happening. We're down 0.5% for the day. It happens, but I'm getting ready to close this one out. Let's see if there's any more questions. Any more questions in the chat that I want to answer? Somebody says for aviation, invest in Delta Airlines. Now, it's good for people to ask questions, get that knowledge. And another thing you want to do when you're driving to work or whatever, you want to listen to other people who are talking about the same things that you're invested in, because they will keep you up to speed on your stock investments, and they could give you the information so you will actually have more time on your hands, because I know a lot of you guys are busy at work. You got kids, so you may not have the time to read up or check articles and listen to a whole hour-long boring earnings call. But you could listen to that stuff where you're at work, whether if you're driving to work or you're on the train or you're catching an Uber to work, go from here to there. Instead of watching these Negroes argue about BWs all day, why not listen to what your portfolio is doing and what your watch list is doing? You could build those stuff out, and you could be a monster investor. But y'all know who it is. It's your boy Grandmaster Troll. You gotta get up out of the bed at opening bell, because that's when the most money is being made. But y'all know who it is. It's your boy, the Grandmaster Troll. I will be back on tonight. Will I be? Or I may be back on midday. I think I may go live midday, because I got late games tonight, and I won't be back till about 10 o'clock tonight. But we're going to talk about the whole Brian Flores situation. I would have did it last night, but I fell asleep, and by the time I woke up, it was midnight. So we're going to talk about that, but y'all know who it is. It's your boy, the Grandmaster Troll. Peace. Get you some stocks. Get you some crypto. Get you something to invest in. Get you some assets, something that will protect you during a rainy day, something that will help you